Chapter 66. One should know that the hypostatic union produces one compound hypostasis of the thing united, and that this preserves unconfused and unaltered in itself both the uniting natures and the difference, as well as their natural properties. Moreover, this has no hypostatic difference with itself, because those characteristic differences of the things are uniting, by which each of them is distinguished from others of the same species because become its own. Thus it is with the hypostatic in the case of the soul and the body, for here one hypostatic is made of both the compound hypostatic of Peter, let us say, or of Paul. This keeps in itself the two perfect natures, that of the soul and that of the body, and it preserves their difference distinct and their properties unconfused, and in itself it has the characteristic differences of each, those of the soul which distinguish it from all other souls, and those of the body which distinguish it from all other bodies. This, however, in no wise separate the soul from the body, but they unite and bind them together at the same time, marking off the one hypostasis composed of them from all other hypostases of the same species. Moreover, once the natures become hypostatically united, they remain absolutely indivisible. And this is so because even though the soul is separated from the body in death, the hypostasis of both remains one and the same, for the constitution in itself is of each thing, as its beginning of being is a hypostasis. Therefore the body remains as does the soul, both always having the one principle of their being and subsistence, even though they are separated. It is further necessary to know that it is possible for natures to be united to each other hypostatically, as in the case of man, and that it is also possible for hypostasis to assume an additional nature. Both of these are to be observed in Christ, because in him the divine and the human natures were united, while his animate body subsisted in the persistent hypostasis of God the Word, and had this for a hypostasis. It is, however, quite impossible for one compound nature to be made for two natures, or for one hypostasis to be made from two, because it is impossible for contact essential differences to exist together in one nature. This is because it is of the very nature of these to distinguish from each other the natures in which they exist. And again, it is impossible for things that have once begun to subsist in themselves to have another principle of subsistence, for the hypostasis is subsistence in itself. It must further be known that in the Holy Trinity, hypostasis is a timeless mode of its external existence.
One should know, moreover, that whenever a compound nature is produced, the parts must be considered and a new thing made from other things. This new thing will not preserve the thing of which it has been composed as such, but will change and alter them. Thus, when the body has been made up from the four elements, a new thing has been made out of other things, and this new thing is neither pure fire nor any of the other elements, nor is it so called. It is the same with the mold, which is bred from a horse and an ass, for it is neither a horse nor an ass, nor it is so called. Now, on the contrary, it is a new thing produced from others, and which does not preserve unconfused and unchanged either one of those things of which it is composed.